to viewers. I'm VK Khoza from Ehlanzeni TVET College, based at Mlomati campus, under the program Office Administration. Today we'll be looking at New Venture Creation Level 3. Remember, New Venture Creation Level 3, it consists of 4 topics. The first topic, identifying internal and external stakeholders. The second topic is the selected structure within an organization. The third topic, the basic HR principle. The fourth topic, which is implementing the business plan and the business operation. Now, I want us to go back and look at the selected structure within an organization. Lastly, when we spoke about the core business of an organization and also looked at the functions in supporting of the core business of an organization. Now, for the core business of an organization to run smoothly, we say we need these functions to be on board. And people, or the function that employs people within an organization for the core business to run smoothly, we said it is the human resource department, which we were looking it more into details, and we also looked at how does it interact with other departments. Now today, let us identify and plan for the human resource needs of a new venture. Now, when we plan and identify the human resource need of a new venture, the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna determine the human resource capacity. What are we talking about when talking about the human resource capacity? Or first of all, let us look at what are we talking about when talking about the human resource. The human resource, it is the duty of this department to ensure that the organization have enough manpower. Remember, when we talk in terms of manpower, we're not talking about the force, but we're talking about number of people within the organization. Now, the human resource, when it looks at the manpower, it also needs to look at people with correct skills, the right attitude, to be able to carry out the different tasks of the organization in order to reach its objectives. Remember, the organization have its objectives that you want to meet. Before employing another person in an organization, they need to consider the workplace implication within the organization. Remember, there are implications when you want to employ a person. Here's a question that you must take in mind before you employ a person. The first question, what will be the duties and the responsibilities of the person that you want to employ? Never ever in an organization employ a person because you saw another organization employing a person. The second question it could be, to whom will the employee report to? The third question, do we have enough space for another worker? So before we can employ a person, we also need to look at our organization if there is a space enough for the movement of that particular employer. Do we have the correct equipment for the employer whom we want to employ? Now, if we have all the questions being answered on the implications, we then now can start the process of sourcing or recruiting, because we already took into consideration all the implications of employing another person. Now let's look at what is recruitment. They say recruitment, it's a process which includes searching, going around searching, then you identify, then you attract, and you appoint the suitable candidate for the organization. Why do we have to recruit rather than to go and elect a person? The first reason, or the aim of recruitment, is to attract people with correct abilities. And secondly, to ensure matching of individual abilities. Thirdly, to contribute to the profitability of the organization. Remember, we're not employing or recruiting for the sake of recruiting. We are recruiting for the profitability of the organization. Then what are the factors that we need to take into consideration when we are recruiting? We need to take into consideration trade unions because they set requirements about qualifications. Secondly, the change in laws and regulations in South Africa, it also influenced the recruitment process within the country. The internal versus the external policies. Remember, whenever we want to recruit, the organization, it have got its own policy in terms of recruitment. And also, the government have also a policy on how we must recruit. The standard that are followed during the recruitment process must not be too high. Why do we say they must not be too high? Now, you find that we want to recruit an administration clerk, but the standard we base it on to be high, too high. We put high qualification. We say we want a person with master's degree, but we are looking for an administration clerk. So the standard should not be too high. Let's look at the guidelines on how we can recruit. The first guideline on how to recruit, we first must draw up a recruitment policy. Remember, we spoke about policies. We say another factor that influences the recruitment process, it is the internal versus the external policies. So we must first draft the recruitment policy. Secondly, complete a recruitment plan. Thirdly, their recruitment must always be based on policies. Remember, we've done the policy because we wanted to follow it. So the recruitment must be based on the policy that we have drafted. Then again, recruitments must be done to satisfy the demands of the organization, not an individual as an HR manager that must satisfy the individual, but the organization so that they can carry out the core business of the organization. Recruitment must be cost effective. What do we mean by cost effective? We must not use recruitment sources that are expensive, so it must be cost effective. Develop a profile of possible candidates. You think about the candidates whom you want to employ, then you develop a profile for them. And then you create an advertisement that suits the position. Another guideline, check the application received according to the checklist. In other words, we're also going to create a checklist. Then we check the application received according to the checklist that we have in the organization. Then we shortlist suitable candidates. After shortlisting them, then we invite the shortlisted candidates for an interview. Then we select the most suitable candidate from the interview. Advising unsuccessful candidate of the future outcomes of the interview. Then give successful candidate on an employment contract. Let us look at how we can conduct recruitment. Recruitment can be conducted in two ways. The first way that we can conduct recruitment is through internal, whereby this occurs when current employees within an organization are given an opportunity to apply for a transfer or a promotion. The internal recruitment could be done through the following ways. It can be done through electronic bulletin board. Electronic bulletin board, it's whereby when you come into an organization, it's sort of like a TV where it plays and it shows the recruitment post. Secondly, we can do it through performance appraisal. Thirdly, it can be done through notice board, This is an old system that was used. Even today, some organizations, they are still using it. It can be done through organization newsletter. And again, word of mouth, whereby you tell a person that there is a post that is vacant within the organization. And lastly, person who has indicated that they would like a transfer, then you can do an internal recruitment. What are the advantages of recruiting within an organization? It is cost-saving from the process of advertising. We're not going to go out and advertise. It is within the organization, then it is cost-saving. Secondly, the productivity of the employees continue to be high. In other words, they are being motivated. The employee who is promoted will be positively motivated. But the disadvantage of employing within an organization is we are losing out on candidate with potential. There is a candidate outside with the potential, then we are losing out from that candidate. And again, high costs relating to training. Remember, we are taking a person from a junior position to a higher position. Then we need to train that particular person. We say another source of recruitment, it can be done externally. And these are those people who are not yet employed by the organization. How can we recruit externally? This is the way how we can follow. The first one, we can do it through private employment agency. Second one, executive search firms. The third one, head hunting, going around and head hunt for a candidate. Another one, it can be walk-in, whereby a person comes in within an organization, submit their applications. Referrals, whereby a person has been referred to the organization that is a vacant post. And it can be done through an advertisement that has been placed on media, which is our newspapers and also on TV. What are the advantages of recruiting outside? The advantages of recruiting outside are usually positive, since the organization has the opportunity of importing new blood in forms of idea. But the disadvantage of recruiting outside are possibility of conflicts arising from existing employees who feels jealous that they were supposed to be given the opportunity. The high cost involved in advertising, initial low productivity while the new employee finds his or her fits in the organization. Remember, the person is not used to work within that organization. So for that few months, there shall be less productivity. Let's look at the recruitment process. The first recruitment process, we need to assess the organization in terms of attractiveness to potential employees. Then from there, we then obtain an approval for position in terms of budget. Then how are we going to do that? Remember, there should be an interaction between the Human Resource Department as well as the Finance Department. So the Human Resource Department shall go to the Finance Department to seek budget, so that before they can employ a new person. So if there is money within the organization, then after that they can employ the person. Then after they've done that, they update the job description and the job specification. Then they choose an appropriate recruitment medium. Which one they're going to use? Remember, we said they can use newspaper, they can use billboard, they can use even notice board. Then they develop the advertisement that they're going to place on the recruitment medium. Then they select a closing date for responses. Then they place the advertisement on the chosen medium that they want to use. Then the applicant are then evaluated by checking whether forms have been filled completely. Then they compile a short list for interviews. Then lastly, notify successful applicants. Let us look at possible questions that they can ask you about this chapter. The first question that they can ask you is, what is recruitment? Remember, you need to define recruitment as a process which includes searching, identifying, attracting, and appointing the suitable candidate for the organization. Now, when the organization has got the suitable candidate, it will meet its objectives. The second question that they can ask is, what are the main aim of recruiting? The first main of recruiting, it could be attracting people with correct abilities and correct skills. Though we understand in South Africa that we still have got a challenge with shortage of skills. And another answer that you can provide them with to ensure matching of individuals' abilities. And there are so many answers that you can give them. Another question is, what are the factors influencing recruitment in South Africa? The first answer that you can provide, it is a trade union. Remember when we're talking about trade union, we say these are unions that represent employees within an organization. Then how do they influence the recruitment process? They set up requirements about qualifications. And secondly, the change in laws and audience in South Africa. The change of these laws each and every day, it influences recruitment. Because today we are having this law, tomorrow we are having another law. Another possible question for this module, what are the guidelines for recruitment? You can tell them that the first thing that you need to do, you need to draw up a recruitment policy if the organization does not have it. So it is important for each and every organization to have a recruitment policy. If the organization doesn't, they need to draw up one. You can also tell them that they need to complete the human resource plan. They need to plan on how are they going to recruit. Source of recruitment. Remember when we were talking about source of recruitment, we say we have got two ways of recruiting. We can recruit internally within the organization. When recruiting internally, it's whereby now we are promoting a person within the organization, giving that person a promotional post. There is advantage of doing that, and there is also a disadvantage of doing that. When you recruit within an organization, the advantage of it, the staff morale improves. But the disadvantage of it is we are losing the new blood with the new ideas. When we recruit external, it's now whereby we are going out searching for a person externally. Then the disadvantage of doing so, or the advantages of doing so are, now we are getting a person with new blood, new ideas, and the productivity of the organization shall rise. The disadvantage of it is the staff morale goes low because they feel being disadvantaged or not being given the opportunity to apply for the position. Then we also have the recruitment processes. What are the recruitment processes that we need to follow? The recruitment processes that you must follow are, we need to assess the organization in terms of attractiveness to potential employees. The organization, it must be attractive. Remember, when we talk in terms of attractive, we're not looking at the building and other things, but we are looking at the outcomes of the organization in terms of remuneration, in terms of the product. The building, it can be extra, but the first thing, it should be the outcome, then it follows by the others. For more information, we are still available on our website, which is ehlanzenicollege.co.za. Or you can find us on Facebook, which is Ehlanzeni TVET College, or you can tweet us at Ehlanzeni TVET College, or on YouTube, Ehlanzeni TVET College. That's it for today. Thank you.